everybody, and thank you for joining us for this edition of Inside the Sugar Skulls. I'm Parris, and I'm joined, of course, by Sugar Skulls head coach Marcus Coleman. Welcome back.
Thank you. Glad to be back.
Riding a 3-game winning streak. Things are going pretty well right now.
Yeah, they're going pretty good right now. No matter how pretty or how ugly, at this point in the year, wins are the only thing that's important. So we've been cranking out some wins and on a 3-game winning streak, and hopefully we can keep that going.
I want to point this out right away because the Sugar Skulls fans who tune in regularly or go to the games are going to say, hey, I've never seen that jersey before. Military and First Responder Appreciation Night coming up on Saturday night at Tucson Arena, and those are some really sweet-looking uniforms. Camo uniforms you're going to be wearing.
Yeah, no, they're definitely sharp. I mean, just because I'm a history buff, anything military is cool to me anyway.
Right, right.
but the unis are definitely sweet, so they're gonna look real sharp this weekend.
Black helmets, black pants, and the black and yellow jerseys.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice.
Yeah, it should be great.
It's definitely gonna be nice.
Let's talk about the success you've had of late. The game you just came off of at Bismarck. You and I talked earlier in the week about this too, and I want to get your thoughts here on our live stream. The bit of a chances you took towards the end of that game to seal the victory. You had just kicked a field goal to extend your lead, but it was only a 5-point lead, and you're talking under a minute to go, and things bounced your way, and then they went your way because you pressed the issue.
Yeah, and at times you have to do that, and considering some of the games that we've gone through, whether we were up in some of those games or we were losing, it was a point, I guess, during the season where we need to learn how to finish games. Mm-hmm. So we executed a call on special teams, got the ball back, and once we got it, on offense, as opposed to just sitting on it and necessarily trying to grind it out, we took a shot and it worked through. So, I thought, just from my perspective as a coach, seeing that and seeing the team really come together at that moment, you really kind of get over that mental hurdle, because we've had some issues in the second half dealing with leads and things like that. So we actually finished out a game, and even though it's Bismarck and they're struggling this year, every team you have to play against. No team you can take lightly in this league, regardless of their record. Guys come out and play hard.
Sure. So
we have to learn how to finish those games and use that as motivation, going into the rest of the season.
Well, I can imagine the bench must have been pretty excited when you completed that touchdown to Harris, and that sealed the win, because when you go for something like that, there's 2 ways it can go, but that time it went really well.
Yeah, there's 2 ways that they can go, but everybody was excited. Once the catch was made, the entire bench erupted. And everybody in the arena got quiet.
It did. It
was just
quiet.
us yelling. Yeah, so it was a great moment.
Well, and as you talk about, you've kind of got to learn to win, or you've got to learn how to succeed and not continually fail. This team must psychologically be in a pretty good frame of mind right now, where you probably want them to be.
Yeah, they are, and you can see it during practice. The chatter is a little bit different. There's a lot of positive energy and a lot of encouragement going around. Even if honestly, if we're running plays and the play doesn't go the way that, even whether it's I like it or whether the players like it, they'll ask, hey, coach, let's run that back, a couple of times. Yeah, so they're taking ownership of it, and, and they see, what it takes in order to close games out, in order to win games in this league. And it's, it's kind of trickling down, amongst everybody. So it's good to see that.
Good to see as well. Second straight week you've won, one of your players has won the Indoor Football League's Defensive Player of the Week award. It was Micah Eugene winning it this past week. He had a terrific game, obviously a big interception, I think 7 tackles. The fact that you've won now, I think, 6 of these IFL Player of the Week awards for an expansion team, pretty unheard of.
Probably. We don't really keep up with that kind of stuff, but it's good to see Micah, not only just win Player of the Week, but to see him continuing to grow every week.
Yeah, LSU kid, right?
LSU kid, yeah. So he's gotten better every single week. He's understanding what we want to do in regards to scheme and coverage, working on his technique, things like that, and he's worked hard at doing it. So, for him to get rewarded for that, is really good for him, because he's been working hard and he deserves it.
Well, and the coaching staff deserves a little congratulations too. When you have 6 awards in an inaugural season for a team, and we're what are you 11 games into the season, that speaks highly of you guys being able to coach up a lot of guys that have never played this game before, the indoor variety.
Yeah, that's true. So listen, for us, we're just trying to put guys in the best positions where they can go out and make plays and display their ability. That's what our job is. So to help them grow as young men, put the X's and O's in front of them, show them what, how to do it, what we're expecting from them, why to do it. And, at the end of the day, they do have to be responsible for going out and executing it. We can't play for them. Sometimes I wish I could, but we can't, but we can. But that's kind of up to them.
I think sometimes we wish you could still play for the Tucson Sugar Skulls. In case you didn't know, he had a heck of an NFL career. The task at hand, though, is what's becoming, the rivalry with the in-state team with the Arizona Rattlers. That'll be Saturday night. Close, but not quite last time. I know there's no moral victories. What did you think your team learned from the inability to finish off the Rattlers last time back in April? Well,
one of the things I think that we did learn is we feel like we can play with them, and we think we match up with them pretty well. They are, honestly, a more experienced team. A lot of those guys have actually played with their team before, the last couple of years. But Coach Guy, Connie, Coach Jurgensen, Coach Windsor, they really do a good job, structurally of putting their teams together. They have great discipline, regardless of how the game is going. Even if you look at the San Diego game last week, San Diego was in the game with them last week.
Yes.
I think it was 35-28 at halftime. But they didn't get out of character. They stayed with who they, with the kind of team that they are, and they went out and they finished the game, and they ended up winning the game by a lot. So, and that's, they've been consistent. If there's a model or kind of a benchmark of what you're looking at,
correct,
the kind of team that you want to be, they're the benchmark. That's what you want to be. So. We've got our hands full. We got to figure out, a way to steal a game from them in this run.
Right.
Keep ourselves in the hunt and go out and play some ball.
Well, and that's important as well. We're going to talk now about the standings, and you're tied for fourth place right now, but you got back-to-back games with a bye week in the middle here against the Arizona Rattlers. You'd really love to be able to grab one of these, especially the home game. There's a look at the standings. You see the Rattlers still have not lost yet. They have 4 games left. The Barnstormers are next, then the Sioux Falls Storms. But there you are, Green Bay, Tucson, right there at 6-5. Nebraska just behind. Now, the top 6 do make the playoffs, but you'd love to be the 4 seed, right? Because you get to host a first-round playoff game.
Love to be the 4 seed and love to host a playoff game. I think the city of Tucson would love that too.
I think so too. And I think for the health of the franchise, that'd be great. Right. But I think for the growth of this sport in Tucson, that would be terrific.
I really, if we could finish in that 4th spot and get a home game, I think everybody that comes out from the city would be amazed at how different the level of play is from regular season to the playoffs. So it would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it really would. We're going to take a little tact here and go in a different direction and talk about one of your really terrific young men that's an offensive lineman. The Sugar Skulls have, of course, one of the top offenses in the Indoor Football League. It all begins up front with the O-line, and that includes a local player who has the weight of a nation on his shoulders.
You'll find Antonio Rosales hard at work in the trenches of indoor football. The Sugar Skulls offensive lineman is one of the many unsung heroes on game day, and that's the way Rosales likes it. The former Tucson High standout is soft-spoken. He lets his play do the talking. But he does get excited about being part of the expansion Sugar Skulls.
This came out of nowhere, so when I found out there's a professional team, in my hometown, I had to jump on it, right. Especially to be, a part of the very first team, that the city has ever seen.
Rosales is proud of his heritage. He grew up on the San Javier Reservation, a member of the Tohono O'odham Nation.
Yeah, definitely. My whole life I've been playing for the nation. We don't have a lot of people like, I guess myself, that go on to play professional sports, that go on to be able to be a role model for the youth. So, just being able to do that, it means a lot.
In June, he plans to take some of his Sugar Skulls teammates to a youth group event in Sells. Rosales hopes to inspire young members of the nation. He also hopes to catch the eye of scouts with his play.
I'm trying to make it to, the next level, and a lot of guys on this team are trying to make it to the next level, and this is definitely going to take us there.
He's an impressive young man. Obviously, he started Tucson High, went to San Diego State, and he found himself in his hometown, which is pretty cool to play professional sports.
Yeah, that is cool. It is cool to be able to play back in your hometown. First ever franchise, being connected to the city, the way he is and the way that the nation is, it's a great story. And he works hard. He's a quiet guy. Goes about, he goes about his business.
Yeah, he does.
And takes care of business, but he's been everything that we asked for. He comes in, goes to work, doesn't complain, have no issues out of him. So he's definitely representing not only himself, but the nation well.
Yeah, and I can't wait for his event coming up in June to see him going back and having those kids. I'm sure will look up to him.
No, that's gonna be fun. Yeah, that's gonna be a lot of fun.
And he has a lot of family that come to the games too, so that's always great when you can be local and have people show up.
People show up. Yeah. You've always got that support system, and for him, he's got a lot. So
he certainly does. The game at hand now is that game Saturday night against the Arizona Rattlers. We're going to show you here. We encourage everybody to come down. Military Appreciation Night, First Responder Appreciation Night at Tucson Arena. It's Saturday evening, 6 o'clock. At the TCC. We'll broadcast it again on the CW Tucson as well. Chuck Cecil joins me in the booth. Jason Barr will have sideline reports. You just want to see you guys get them one time. just take a little air out of the sails of that big champion that they seem to be.
The thing is especially Coach Nelson and I, we've been through this before.
Yes.
In dealing with Arizona, we actually went through this in 17. And going into 18 before we kind of got on the track and figured out, how to beat them. They're hard to beat, whether it's at home or, in their place. They're a hard team to beat because you have to go in, you have to make all the plays that you can make, but you have to make the least amount of mistakes and at least try to win the turnover battle and steal a play here, and there during the game. They're tough because they're so consistent at what they do. They're so organized at what they do, and they do have a lot of great players. You look at the quarterback and Drew Powell. Their defensive line has always been great. They play great man-to-man coverage on the back end. A good running back with Lally, and then Coach Scott does a good job of calling plays, on both sides, offensively and when he's calling coverages. So they're tough to beat.
Third time you're going to face your owner, who's the head coach, Kevin Guy. Does this week become a little less communicative between the two of you, or is it about the same?
It's about the same. I just texted like an hour ago.
Well, there you go.
It's not that. Yeah, I guess I know everybody wants that to be a story. Okay, talk to him. We don't take it that seriously. Like, we're still either talking about the game or other teams, or we're talking about business as usual. Things they have to do with the team or things like that. So it's not one of those things where, okay, I've been best friends with him or somebody else for 30 years, but yet when we play each other, we can't talk. To me, that's ridiculous. I don't even know why people do that. Yeah. If anything, that's even more of a reason why I'm gonna talk to you, because you take some shots at each other, make it fun.
Well, I hope you can talk to him next week and get a couple little digs in because of how you guys perform on Saturday night.
I hope so. But we got to seal the deal on Saturday before we can get to that point.
That's
so let's start
there. All right, Marcus, thank you so much. Appreciate it as always, and good luck to you Saturday. And
thank you very much.
We'll see you on the CW Tucson with the call of the game. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you on the CW Tucson on Saturday night or at the Tucson Arena.